Old Trafford. One of the most iconic stadiums in the beautiful game. Also known as the Theatre of Dreams, the reputation is well earned, and has been garnered, through centuries of success. As the largest club stadium in the United Kingdom, the venue is home to the most successful football club in England and, arguably, the biggest club in the world, Manchester United. With 20 league titles, 12 FA Cups, 5 League Cups, 21 Community Shields, 3 Champions League trophies, 1 Europa League title, success is so deeply ingrained within their culture that it is expected. They have some of the most passionate and invested fans of any club, and as such, the club is home to some of the finest players in the world. This is why, when the club takes a loss, questions must be asked, and when they take a massive loss, an outright catastrophe must be declared. The month of October has not been the most kind to the club throughout its history. As the third month on the Premier League calendar, October has contained some of the most shocking results in the club's history. The insult is added to injury when you consider that these were all home defeats, witnessed by the 76,000 United faithful and millions of others, on that day. Although all of the results on this list are intriguing, two stand out, partially due to recency bias, but also because, simply put, there is a story to tell. 6-1, last year, as Jose Mourinho returned to Old Trafford and exacted his revenge in one of the most emphatic ways possible. And the 5-0 result, roughly 1 month ago, today. On a superficial level, the common denominator in both defeats, apart from the venue, was the manager and the fact that 7 of the 11 started both matches. But upon closer inspection, there are a few more similarities. For one, the first goal was conceded early, with Tottenham scoring within the first 4 minutes, while Liverpool scored within 5. United maintained only 38% possession against Tottenham and 530 total touches. Against Liverpool, it was 522 touches with 37% possession. In both matches, United was only able to hit the mark on 25% of their shots. And finally, David De Gea, who has been a frustrated figure over the past few seasons, had been left to dry entirely by his defense. However, this loss was a substantially tougher pill to swallow. As United's manager just the season prior, Mourinho was determined to leave a mark on the 76,000 strong within Old Trafford on that fateful night. He was well aware of all of the old team's shortcomings and exactly how to exploit them. Mourinho had a point to prove and was looking to deliver a dagger in the hearts of all United's fans. No. This loss was substantially worse because there was an expectation in the air. With the addition of marquee signings, things were supposed to be different. So what happened? United started the year off on the right foot, winning their first match 5-1 and extending their unbeaten run to 4 straight. Paul Pogba was a crucial part of their initial success, playing in various roles as a left winger, central midfielder, and defensive midfielder. Solskjaer looked to utilize Pogba's skill set as a creator and range distributor. His ability as a link player to help United transition from defense to offense was crucial, as United's manager utilized the 4-2-3-1 formation. His holding midfielders provided the necessary cover in front of the backline, while, initially, Pogba was employed in the role of the mezzola. As a right-footed player, it was clear that Pogba was not meant to use the role to deliver deep crosses. The space was meant for Shaw to run into during overlapping runs, while Pogba utilized the upper attacking one-third to deliver immediate crosses or cut in and create. He was always available to his midfielders, connected via stretched diagonal passes to the flanks. The addition of Cristiano Ronaldo, the return of Marcus Rashford, and the integration of Jadon Sancho forced Solskjaer to revert Pogba into the role of central midfielder. His ability as a passer and a range distributor meant that he could serve as the connecting focal point as he sat directly in front of the defensive line. As such, he could support his teammates as a central outlet while remaining in the upper attacking third to deliver decisive passes. Bruno Fernandes was able to create in the attacking third, as Ronaldo settled into his role as a poacher at the sharp end of United's attack. His presence in the attacking third was crucial, as United looked to pin the opposition in their defensive third to establish attacking opportunity. The threat was added over the top, as Pogba, Maguire, and Varane could seal the pressure with precise passing. United was able to dominate possession, averaging 53% possession while maintaining a passing accuracy of 83%. Pogba began the season at a historical pace, with 7 assists in his first 4. He was among United's leaders for both shot and goal creating actions. Being a jack of all trades is a double-edged sword. As an all-rounded player, Pogba is competent in all areas of the game, while he excels in the offensive phase. His penchant for the spectacular, however, often leaves him exposed. Although he is an accurate passer, he has been intercepted 16 times. In fact, in the match against Aston Villa alone, he was intercepted 4 times. Additionally, despite his athleticism, Pogba is, at times, a defensive liability. Not only does he frequently give the ball away, doing so by forcing the play, but he is oftentimes out of position while failing to track and mark the man within his zone. His defensive reinforcements were forced to compensate the vacated space that he caused or maintain their zones, allowing ball carriers more time on the ball because he failed to close them down. As Pogba was integrated more defensively, his production on the offensive end began to dwindle, while his skill set was not being maximized as a holding midfielder. Furthermore, there were better options at the position. As young McTominay claimed his stake, he offered Solskjaer an alternative as a precision passer. Additionally, he was positionally sound and worked well with Fred, who was the leading ball winner at United. Leading up to the match against Liverpool, Solskjaer prioritized his defense by placing two true, holding midfielders. He was confident enough within his four attacking players, looking to the left flank with speedy technicians with support on his central midfielders, Fred and McTominay, to win the ball back and spring counterattacks. As such, stretched diagonal passes from the neutral third were critical to maintaining the balance between the offense and the defensive third. The assigned left winger would work with Shaw, who could provide overlapping runs and support. Ronaldo had the freedom to join in on the coordinated approach on the wing, or rely on Sancho or Rashford, with Bruno Fernandes in proximity. As United pinned their opposition deeper and deeper into their own defensive zone, defenders could advance higher and higher, up the pitch applying the offensive seal. With an abundance of world-class, right-footed players, Solskjaer stacked the left wing with scoring threats. However, at Dortmund, Sancho operated as a world-class right winger. The subtraction of Pogba meant that an emphasis was now placed on vertical and diagonal transitional passes to bridge the gap between the back and front line. This prioritized the composure of Solskjaer's midfield players, who were crucial for effective transitions. As United was looking to establish their identity, Liverpool's was deeply etched in football history. The historic club reflected the passion, intensity, and tactics of their manager to a T. Well drilled, well skilled, and dangerous. Liverpool is designed for the counterattack. Similar to counter-puncher in boxing, their system is built to capitalize when their opponent is most vulnerable, which is when they are attacking. Liverpool plays with a four-man backline. Klopp's fullbacks are expected to advance often, providing an expanded, attacking arsenal from the flanks. Klopp plays a holding midfielder in front of his two centre-backs, and two well-rounded midfielders, who have primary duties as attackers, or are deployed as defensive reinforcements. He played with deadly weapons in the attack, a world-class false nine and two winger, striker hybrids. The Merseyside squad has been exceptional this season, going on a 12-match unbeaten run, across all competitions, going into match week 9. Their success is due, in large part, to Mohamed Salah, who started the season on a scoring note, and hasn't missed a beat since then. The Reds have been winning their games by dominating possession. Their high-pressure, high-intensity pressing system has been perfected over the years. Liverpool plays a spread formation. By spreading the pitch, Liverpool controls the flow of play. This style of play requires exceptional team chemistry, and the ability to pass accurately while operating in space. Klopp has exceptional confidence in his team and formation. The gegenpress allows for Liverpool to comfortably pin their opposition in their defensive third, while controlling the play. By pinning the opposition, Liverpool can set up the knockout punch, the sideline-oriented diagonal. By building up from the sideline, the counter-attacking threat was minimized. If they lost possession, they could swarm and surround their opposition, whose only feasible attacking routes were towards the center of the pitch, or by playing the ball backwards. With numbers forward, Liverpool could play a variety of formations to cause disorientation between defenders and create favorable matchups, pinning world-class attackers against slower defenders. The man on the ball has supporting options available to him, and the tactic is only applied when Liverpool has numbers forward and are in control. A man was free on the weak side if a switch of play was necessary. The system involves quick, rapid, and constant ball movement into space, with the venomous, precise, through balls from the sideline. Liverpool is in the top 5 for both touches and attempted passes within the attacking third, while leading the Premier League in attempted long balls as of matchday 15. The world-class trio of Mane, Salah, and Firmino is one of the best attacking threats in club football. Sadio Mane is one of the best attackers in the world, however for the assignment against Manchester United, precision passers were needed. Diogo Jota provided Klopp an option as an elite-level attacker, who is also a precise passer. When out of possession, Liverpool plays a strict zonal system, with selective pressing. They prioritized cutting off the passing lanes and forced opposing backlines to demonstrate their composure and deliver passes into smaller passing windows. In the deep, neutral and the attacking third, offensive players would quickly sink on the ball carrier in an instant to win the ball back to eliminate the counter-attack. On match day, Solskjaer looked to put his coordinated attack to the test. Fred was to operate near the left flank for defensive support as a ball winner in advanced areas of the pitch. Luke Shaw held his position on the left flank to contain Mohamed Salah, meaning that there was one less participant in the left flank overload. To compensate, Mason Greenwood was expected to vacate his position and drift to the left flank to participate in the coordinated attack. Fernandes could work interchangeably with Greenwood, either participating on the right flank or as a third player in the coordinated attack. Wan-Bissaka and Shaw had to remain positionally disciplined to contain Jota and Salah, respectively. On match day, Liverpool was looking to dominate by playing the 4-3-3. Their tried and true system, which produced 23 goals, while conceding only 6. The system is initiated in the attacking third, and requires precise passing, and the technical ability to receive passes in crowded spaces and create. Jota worked with Robertson on the left channel. Salah replaced Firmino when he drifted into the neutral third and acted as the striker. This left the weak side, on the right channel, open. On the weak side, Naby Keita and Alexander-Arnold could fill and attack the open space, adding more attacking threats for United to deal with in the attacking third. This attack was anchored by Jordan Henderson and James Milner, who had defensive assignments. Henderson served as the sweeper, with Milner as the libero. Anderson and Alexander-Arnold were to play cautiously due to their defensive assignments of Greenwood and Rashford, respectively. United began the match playing the deep press with high intensity. However, the tactic was not effective as United was unable to close down the lines properly. Wan-Bissaka was forced to vacate his position to close down Robertson, who had ample time on the ball. Due to a weak press from Mason Greenwood, there were early warning signs of United's impending doom, as they demonstrated early that they could not deal with Liverpool's deep, high-intensity press. Salah also made his presence known, occupying the central striker position, keeping Maguire fixed in place, and Shaw nearby for support. United wasted little time instigating their coordinated disorientation approach on the left flank. Liverpool played a second-tier press, with the nearest players to the ball, responsible for closing down passing windows. The second-tier defenders were to press the potential receivers of the ball, aggressively. As United's best ball winner, Fred was placed nearby United's build-up play to win United the ball back as quickly as possible. To spring counterattacks, United had early success. By placing three pacey dribblers in proximity, operating in the same space required Liverpool's defenders to react quickly. With the quality of United strikers, a wrong move could easily result in a scoring opportunity. In this case, it did, as Fernandes found himself in acres of space. This is an excellent demonstration of the tactic at work, as Liverpool was off balance and unable to recover. Liverpool established early that they would be uncompromising in their defending. Liverpool looked to test the composure of United's defenders. The receiver of the ball was immediately swarmed, due to the high intensity and effort from the front and middle three. They collapsed on the ball carrier with immediacy and aggression. The receiver of the ball was immediately swarmed due to high intensity and effort from Liverpool, as they collapsed the space. If United were to overcome the constant waves of pressure, then they were required to remain highly composed under this pressure, and rely on their passing and technical ability. The suffocating, sustained pressure from Liverpool forced United to attempt more medium and long-range passes or risk being intercepted on the closer option. In contrast, United's lack of pressure gave the ball carrier ample time and space on the ball. The first goal came suddenly, as Wan-Bissaka advanced higher and higher up the pitch and was forced to recover his position. Jota had time to orchestrate a sideline-oriented diagonal build. Observe how Mohamed Salah takes his position at center forward, threatening Maguire. As Salah challenges the space, Maguire unfathomably abandons his post, leaving Luke Shaw to deal with threats on either side. This could be due to the fact that he knows he cannot take Salah one-on-one, or it could be a lack of composure when under threat. Firmino continues the quick diagonal up the line to Salah, while Naby Keita replaces the space efficiently, leaving Luke Shaw to deal with two players in space. In contrast, Liverpool made the necessary adjustments to deal with United's attack early on. Fred did an excellent job of creating counter-attacking situations in advanced areas of the pitch. However, in front of the backline, Jordan Henderson countered those efforts to close down on the ball carrier and force an error in judgment due to relentless pressure. Klopp's men made it exceedingly difficult for United's midfielders, with three players in proximity to the receiver of the ball. United had no chance to process their surroundings, making the necessary diagonal long balls impossible. In the build-up to goal 2, United was once again caught lacking. Observe how none of United's attackers pressure Henderson, giving him time and space to initiate the attack. Robertson, in turn, has time and space on the ball to deliver a difficult over-the-top diagonal from the sideline, with precision, as Greenwood gives a lackluster pressing effort. The ensuing, shambolic episode results from a lack of trust and communication between defenders. Due to a lack of faith in his centre-back, Shaw gambles and vacates his man in position to win the ball. Thus, Keita is completely free, with acres of space to create the second salvo. The miscommunication only led to more confusion between the two, as they interfered with each other, leaving the space entirely open for Alexander-Arnold, the last player you want to be in that position. Observe how Lindelof leaves his man unmarked, despite being aware of him. Hoda's reactions and finishing instincts made him difficult to cover in space. Manchester United doubled their efforts, with Fernandes dropping deeper and deeper into the neutral third to facilitate United's offense. As the sweeper, Henderson was the primary ball winner when dealing with the counterattack, with Milner providing support to the backside defender. As a unit, Liverpool blocked off the cross, prioritizing closing the space for the ball carrier to ensure that no crosses could be made. With a left flank locked down, United had to seek alternative routes to Liverpool's net. However, Liverpool's positional discipline made this task very difficult. Passing lines were disrupted by Liverpool's defenders, with Milner and Henderson sitting directly in front of the backline. By closing down short passing routes, Liverpool was forcing United to attempt riskier long balls. United was pushed further and further out of Liverpool's zone as they opted for safer passes to avoid risking the counterattack. Solskjaer's defensive line was stressed to the limit. They were unable to contain Liverpool's precision and coordination. Liverpool's attackers could run the flanks, as both Shaw and Wan-Bissaka had to stay fixed in position due to the sideline orientation. As such, one-on-one situations were created centrally. With no pressure by Solskjaer's wingers, it was too easy for Liverpool to run and dominate Manchester United's backline. The shambolic defending left one of the best strikers in the world entirely unmarked to devastating effect. Young superstar Mason Greenwood's match ended at halftime. This was mainly due to his flank being the main focal point of Liverpool's attack. With 1 tackle, 69% passing, 2 shot creating actions, and 0 pressures, Greenwood was a complete non-factor. A weak presence on the wings made for the ideal conditions for Klopp's sideline-oriented build. Young superstar Mason Greenwood's limited involvement stems from his lack of enthusiasm in the match. Perhaps it was Solskjaer's tactics. There were flat performances across the board, as United's forwards did not respond well to the lack of service. Roberto Firmino alone had more pressures than all 4 of United's forwards combined, with Jota not far behind. In fact, as a collective, Liverpool nearly doubled the attempted pressures of United. Paul Pogba occupied the role of central attacking midfielder, while Fernandes moved to the right wing. However, Pogba's only actions in the match were gifts to Liverpool. A giveaway, centrally, which Liverpool clinically countered. And a red card after a brutal tackle, which injured Naby Keita. This about summed everything up for United. As Pogba forced the issue and tried to make an impact, all he could do was laugh at the cruel irony of the situation. Hindsight always provides insight, but without Pogba, there was no service to the front line. Solskjaer attempted to rectify his mistake. However, at this stage in the game, the decision backfired. Klopp's men put on a clinical display, putting the world on notice. In particular, Jordan Henderson had an exceptional performance as holding midfielder in the 4-3-3. It was all started by the shift that was put in by Liverpool's attacking 3, with Henderson sweeping up any threats before they could reach Alisson. Henderson formed a defensive fortress between himself and his 2 centre-backs. United, who averaged 248 touches in the attacking third, was limited to just 155 against Liverpool, with only 37% possession. Legendary striker Cristiano Ronaldo was a frustrated figure. As Liverpool locked down United's left flank, United had few alternatives. To compensate, Ronaldo had to split the majority of his limited touches between the neutral and attacking third to help facilitate the maneuvered phase of play. Marcus Rashford didn't fare any better, with each player preferring to operate in space, to utilize their speed and technical ability. The coordinated disorganization approach requires good chemistry between players to anticipate runs into channels and to deliver through balls. Ronaldo and Rashford are yet to establish chemistry, and were better off operating in their own space. Each player in United's attacking 3 are strikers at heart. Neither of them is looking to serve as a service to the other. Each player could play as the main striker at any other club. It was a miscalculation by Solskjaer to expect that they would adapt and develop instant chemistry in time for such a formidable opponent. The lack of service was due primarily to central midfielders Fred and McTominay's inability to deliver the stretch diagonal to the front line. Fernandes was the single player expected to control the upper attacking third. Perhaps it was an off night for him. Against Liverpool, he was unable to do this. He struggled under the relentless pressure of the gegenpress, and was mediocre, given his world-class standard. Manchester United paid £80 million for Harry Maguire, and one has to question how this was allowed to happen. To put this into perspective, Maguire was £5 million more than Virgil van Dijk, making him the most expensive defender of all time. Maguire lacks the composure, speed, and tackling ability to act as United's defensive anchor. Mohamed Salah's spectacular performance was encouraged by Maguire, who panicked at the mere sight of him. Maguire ended the match with 1 tackle and 2 pressures. This is despite the fact that Salah was going at him all match. Maguire was £46 million, more than Raphael Varane, one of the most decorated and best defenders of a generation. Yet Varane has seen it all and can handle attackers much more effectively than Maguire. He can tackle, press, pass, head the ball, win the ball, and serves as a calming presence for his fellow defenders. Perhaps he and Varane can establish a formidable pair, however, there are some doubts given the disparity in skill sets. Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool orchestrated one of the most devastating tactical performances in recent history. The established chemistry between players allowed them to gel early and continue their sustained domination. They are in spectacular form at the moment, and it's terrifying to think about how good they will become. As United's manager, Solskjaer was constantly performing a balancing act. Although he managed a roster filled with world-class players, it was his job to integrate and maximize the talent at his disposal. He was unable to obtain the right balance that got the most out of his players. The quality of the players at his disposal made up for any tactical shortcomings. It was Liverpool who made it very clear that despite the fact that the club is worth nearly £1 billion, they are light years behind the truly elite clubs of Europe. The issues are not purely tactical. Unless United can establish a defensive anchor to control their defensive line, and get their wingers to put in a sustained defensive effort, they will get bossed by top-class squads. Ole Solskjaer will forever be a club legend, there is no doubt. However, the loss against Liverpool was the culmination, the straw that broke the camel's back. Solskjaer should be commended for helping United transition through a rough period and remain competitive. However, the fact is clear. In historical fashion, Liverpool stormed into Old Trafford and ran riot, and United simply had no answer.